December 26th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who never jogs on New Year's Eve, mainly because it keeps the ice from bouncing out of your glass, J.P. Shadrick.
Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We've got a busy 2 hours ahead. It is week 17 in the National Football League, and the Titans and Jaguars will tangle this Sunday at the Bank. The game presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. 2 games to go. We'll have the Baptist Health Injury Report coming up, and then at 5 o'clock, the Doug Pederson Show. Brian Sexton will step in this week with Jeff Lageman and interview head coach Doug Pederson in this very studio. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Happy
it was a good
New
Christmas. Almost Happy New Year.
We're, what, a week? Less than a week. That's how it works.
Look, the day after Christmas, we're still celebrating Christmas to some extent.
I agree.
Not quite ready to move on to the New Year celebration yet.
One holiday at a time. I say.
One at a time, and one meal at a time, one bite at a time.
Is, like, I don't know the rule on this. The 12 days of Christmas, is Christmas the 12th day? Or is, like, New Year's Day the 12th day?
You're asking me?
You're not the only one in the room. I don't know who else to
I don't
ask.
know. That's a great question. Yeah, we'll just say that Christmas is the 12th day. It sounds right.
I don't know.
Sounds good.
I don't know the answer. Partridge in a pear tree, right? The whole thing.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know.
Did you get anything good for Christmas?
Did I get anything?
Yeah. Besides, you had a heck of a meal in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was in Pittsburgh. I had the game. I had the Chiefs-Steeler game, so that was a nice gift.
Yeah, I watched that game. I was disappointed that Russell Wilson did not give you better performance to make it a better game.
That interception was awful.
He's not very good.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
He can't see the field.
That's the Steeler team that's fading quick.
Well, and I think part of that is the lack of confidence in your quarterback, I think, drained a little energy out of that Steeler team. Because early in that game, Russell was missing some things that were wide open.
He's always been that.
Wide open.
He's got to scramble and buy time and do all that. That's always kind of been his game.
Totally been his game.
But this just didn't look right yesterday. Now, for the Chiefs,
14, by the way, did not look happy.
Oh, no. He's not scared to show it either.
No. You talk about wearing his emotions on his sleeve.
But then on the Chiefs,
what's his name?
Pickens.
George
Pickens.
The body language of Pickens.
Well, he's had that since college.
I know. But it was, and when you look really close and you watch the really good wide receivers when they're open and they don't get seen, and it wasn't just Pickens in that game. There were other Steelers too. Okay, that had some body language. Well, look, Brian Thomas Jr. can have a little body language too.
Does. Well, there's a fine line there, right? You want your receivers to want the football, right?
Damn right, yeah.
So, you don't want them to go over the top.
I don't want them to write a book that says "Give me the damn ball."
Right. Okay.
I don't want diva, but I want somebody who wants the ball. Yeah. Yes.
And final thought of this game. We'll get to the Jaguars coming up. Of course, this is a Jaguars program. The Chiefs have had explosive offenses over the years with Andy Reid. They've had a quarterback that can throw it down the field, 60 yards down the field.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
All this. They've had that over the years. They don't have that this year. But this might be Andy Reid's toughest team because they're winning all these close games this year in different ways. They're not scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
And they just know how to finish the job.
I don't think their games have been that close lately, though. They're kind of getting on a little bit of a roll. The one thing that is, I think, consistent with Kansas City is that Patrick Mahomes is simply fantastic. Makes the plays when he needs to. Kelsey's kind of in the same boat, even though he hasn't had the year that many people expected him to have. He's still a fantastic player. And they're only getting better as they approach the playoffs and in a quest for a three-peat, which if they do that, first team in the National Football League to ever do so. And so they're on a bit of a mission.
First in the Super Bowl era.
In the Super Bowl era, yes.
Packers won 3 in a row before there was a Super Bowl. And it also helps if you don't cover Travis Kelce 3 times.
You know what?
He's wide open.
The touchdown is what you're talking about,
well,
right?
That was one. There was 2 other ones, too.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Here's what's so unique. And that I don't think that there are designed routes for Kelsey in certain situations. I think they give him the absolute freedom, and Patrick the absolute freedom, to let him kind of just find an opening. Yeah. And it's crazy how good they are at that. But, I mean, you can watch Kelsey, and at times it's like, sometimes they call that an option route. They can kind of do things based on coverage. Kelsey, sometimes, I swear to you, he just releases, and then once he sees that it's a zone, he just looks around and tries to find an open spot and then turns around, and Mahomes is so good. Their timing, it's almost like an unspoken language that the two of them have, that they can communicate without even looking at each other, like through some kind of mental telepathy or something.
Yeah.
And then, bam, it's on the money. It's incredible to watch.
Our, by the way, this is Jaguars Happy Hour, 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our crack research staff, by the way, has come through with the definition of the 12 days of Christmas.
Okay, that's great.
It's the period starting Christmas Day to January 6th, apparently.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. Well, and by the way, we talk about this Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey thing in the hope that we get to witness something like that in the future between Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., this unspoken ability of those two to have in the future. You hope that we can see something like that as well.
It would certainly be nice to see. The Jaguars are coming off a loss in Las Vegas, of course, last weekend. Same script, different week. It feels like some big plays allowed. 5 plays of 17 or more yards allowed by the defense. The offense giving the ball away and can't do anything outside of a short field touchdown and a blown coverage touchdown.
Yeah, not good. And the disappointing thing is that kind of some of the same things crop up. The defense's inability to kind of get a stop at a key moment. The offense's inability to take it down the field and win a game. Some things change, but some things don't. And the performance is not where it needs to be. It's disappointing. And especially when you're losing to a team that's lost 10 in a row, which I think makes it a little bit even harder to swallow. And, you kind of finished up that blowout game in Detroit with the hope that, okay, now you've got a stretch of games against teams that are not very good. You've got one win against Tennessee, and that's it. And you just lost to arguably one of the top 2 worst teams in football that really don't have a lot of weapons in the Raiders that were, I think, very void of talent on both sides of the ball in a lot of respects, and it's a complete rebuild in Oakland/Vegas/L.A. Because there's fans all over the place for that place. And by the way, the stadium is incredible.
Better be. For that price tag.
Incredible.
Sure.
What did that one cost?
I don't know. A lot.
And
not as much as SoFi. That's a different level.
The whole excitement of that stadium for me is that, it's awesome seeing this new stadium that is just, I think, decorated to the Raiders 9. You know what I mean? As far as all the silver and the black and all of that.
$1.9 billion.
Ooh. Yeah. And I will say the excitement of seeing that place got me excited for the future in Jacksonville, to see what is constructed here in the future, which is slated to open up in 2028?
28.
So that makes it kind of exciting, but the game itself was one of the most boring football games I've ever called.
I was sitting here watching it in the studio.
It was rough.
Gosh.
It was, just rough.
Brutal.
2 teams just not very good, not playing good football. 2 quarterbacks that were not playing good football. Aiden O'Connell and obviously Mac Jones, just struggling to kind of find a little rhythm, and especially early in that ball game where they were both just missing guys. It's like, wow. And they don't have a lot of talent to throw to now. I think Parker Washington and Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange pretty good. And then the disappointment of the giveaways in the first half that took points off the board. They didn't result in Raider points.
No,
but it took points off of your side of the scoreboard, okay, which could have changed the way that you managed the game at the end. Disappointing.
Ladies, join us at Everbank Stadium Sunday, December 29th before the game from 10 to 12 for a lively and fun-filled Glitz and Blitz brunch. Enjoy delicious pastries, refreshing mimosas, and a special appearance by The Roar and a Jags legend. Grab your tickets now at Jaguars.com/Glitz and Blitz. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. One of the bright spots, though, from last week, and we continue this conversation each and every week now, is Brian Thomas Jr. Putting up numbers still. Yeah, he had the blown coverage touchdown, which was a 62-yarder. But they, first of all, they're throwing it his direction now. That's a good start. What was it, 3 weeks ago against Tennessee? Remember, he had 2 looks in the first half, no catches. And then they fed it to him 10 times in the second half. He caught 8 of them. Yeah, that was really the first time you're like, oh, okay, now they're going to really start feeding this guy.
Well, when you have what I consider a great player, you have to find a way to get him the ball. And I'm disappointed that he didn't have a 10th catch in that ball game. At the end of the ball game, an opportunity there on 4th down to throw the ball. The ball gets dumped off underneath to a running back. And Brian Thomas Jr. is kind of the option that's a little bit deeper. And the Raiders were playing cover 2, safety over the top of Brian. Corner was underneath. The corner tried to stay back. And then once the ball was dumped underneath, the corner reacts up, makes a tackle short of the first down. The game's over. In that situation, you've got to make a throw to the sticks. And when you have your best player, you have to make that throw to your best player if there's no other wide open option. And in that case, there was a window for Brian. And disappointed that ball was not thrown. A perfect example is yesterday. The game you're calling. Mm-hmm. Okay, Kansas City going for 2. Okay, Patrick Mahomes running around, getting chased out of the pocket. Yeah. And the play is essentially, it's a completely busted play. Now it's called scramble rules. What does Patrick do? He throws it up to his best player, which is Kelsey.
Let's just give it a chance.
And Kelsey gets his hands on it.
He did.
It didn't come down with the catch. It ended up being, I think, an interception.
It was, yep.
And, in that same scenario with the Jaguars, if you're Mac Jones, you got to put it to your best player and give him a chance. Whether or not it works or not, live and die with your best player. That's what great teams do. That's what great players do. And that's what great quarterbacks do. You got to give them a chance.
Frustrating ending. And they had one that Brian Thomas Jr. dropped earlier in the game. There was a holding call and all that would have negated it anyway. However,
he could have had 200-plus in that game.
Absolutely.
Early in the game, the double move that Mac missed the throw on.
Threw it out of bounds.
That's a 30, 40-yard chunk play at the least. Maybe more. I don't know. But, he could have had a monster day. If everything fell into place, it could have been one of those Jimmy Smiths at Baltimore, 3 touchdowns, 250 yards receiving type of day. That's how good it could have been. And it was crazy to me that the Raiders were just playing the way they were against Brian Thomas Jr. When are teams going to wake up? And I'm glad they're not.
I was going to say, these teams on the schedule stink. That's why they're not waking up.
You got Jack Jones playing on Brian Thomas Jr.
There's a reason why these teams are bad, man.
Come on. The Texans did some of the same thing. The Jets did some of the same thing with a safety and a guy that was just signed off of the practice squad. When you got one of the best corners in the league in Sauce Gardner.
That's another team, the Texans last night. Oof.
Oh, they look like
yikes.
They look terrible.
That's not good.
No, they have not been playing good football this year, and they've won the division because the division stinks. There's some bad football right now in the AFC South. Bad football. And the Texans right now are representing a bad division.
Well, let's come back and dig into this division a little more. The Titans-Jaguars matchup. The game we've been waiting for in Week 17. The rematch. The Jaguars got him last time in Nashville. Got him. Trying to double up.
What percentage of the country do you reckon this must-see matchup is going to end up being in?
At least in 2 markets.
I don't think it's going to be anywhere else.
Well, we're back in a moment. Kai Stevens coming up at 4:30. She'll join us in studio as well. Then at 5 o'clock, of course, the Doug Pederson Show. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans covering repairs on up to 5,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call 800-471-1223. Coverage varies by plans. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Does propane power your home or business? Count on AmeriGas for expert propane delivery with a neighborly smile. At AmeriGas, the official propane partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, their drivers deliver for Duval. Their local team will keep your home or business running smoothly throughout football season and beyond. Call 844-PRO-JAGS for a free propane quote today. Grilling this tailgate season? Visit AmeriGas.com to find your closest cylinder exchange location and keep it teal with a custom Jaguars wrapped grill tank.
Still trying to push the ball down the field. Obviously, Calvin, some of the speed they have, and still the ability to run the football, screens. Tony Pollard, getting him the ball when they can, and I think one of the things too you're seeing is the defense is also creating some takeaways, right? They're taking the football away, giving their offense some opportunities, but not a whole lot. Still just running the offense.
Head coach Doug Pederson earlier today, full press conference at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. Both coordinators spoke today. Quarterback Mac Jones also in the media room today. Locker room was open. All that coming up on the official team website. It's Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube, of course, there talking about quarterback Mason Rudolph getting the start. Second straight week for the Tennessee Titans. We'll get to this matchup coming up shortly. Well, we've got to wrap up. One more thought about last week's game. It was so bad in so many ways, and we left out the penalties.
Oh, there was
the
penalties,
offside calls. Yep. They had, 4 of them in there?
Illegal formation, and then on offense, and then defensively had guys that were lined up offsides, which 3 of them were against your frontline guys, 2 of them on Armstead, back-to-back plays, which in reality the play before could have been called. I mean, it literally could have been, and the female official, the side judge, looked and she saw the first play, and then the next play he lined up in the neutral zone again. She threw the flag, lined up in again. She threw the flag again. In reality, she could have thrown it 3 plays in a row. And for a veteran player who's been in the league for a decade, I mean, it's just you can't make that mistake if you're Armstead. And then Josh did it too.
So why would it all of a sudden creep up now in week 16? That's weird.
That's a great question.
I mean, now of all times,
I don't know. I mean, it's
you've been lining up on the defensive line for 10 years in the league.
You gotta pay attention better than that. I mean, it's maybe he's just. I know he's playing edge. I mean, is the
angle too far away from the ball?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's. I can't explain that one, JP. Maybe move him closer to the ball as defensive tackle.
Huh. Well, he did that, and he got a sack.
He actually did. He had a couple good rushes in the ball game. I wish his finish was better, though. I mean, that's the one area that he's got to do a better job of, because he can impact the game more than what he's doing, and the finishing part is harder. I mean, it requires harder work and strained. I mean, and that's that makes the difference in making plays and not making plays.
You're starting to sound
He's got to strain more.
You're starting to sound like a coach a little bit. Some of these buzzwords: strain, finish, and
grit.
Right?
Yeah,
all these things.
If I could sound like a coach more, we got to get some takeaways, boys.
Absolutely.
I mean, where's the takeaways at?
They're last in the league.
5 games without a takeaway.
Not good.
Gosh,
not good.
Last time they had a takeaway, Minnesota Vikings, 3 interceptions in that game. Savage had one. Cisco had one. I think Foyer might have had another one.
You got me there. That's been so long. It feels like last season.
The well has gone dry.
It has.
Since then.
You know what can change that, though? The Tennessee Titans.
Well, that's because they're giving the ball away at a higher rate than anybody in the National Football League.
Absolutely true. Will Levis was so bad that he's been benched.
Well, and here's kind of what happened there a little bit. Let me go back, because the last game he started was against our Jaguars in Tennessee. And right before the half, you had essentially a turnstile block by their left tackle, which is their first-round pick out of Alabama, J.C. Latham.
Yep.
And Josh takes Levis, buries him, and he gets his shoulder hurt even more than it already was. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at it now. If you're watching us on
right before halftime,
different things, right before halftime. Yeah. And then Will Levis goes in at halftime, gets the shoulder shot up, finishes the game. The next week, he comes out. He throws 3 interceptions in the early part of the game that they had the following week against, I believe it was Cincinnati, and then he gets benched. So Mason Rudolph comes in and does pretty well. But anyway, hey, look, the reality is Mason Rudolph last week had 3 interceptions himself. So back-to-back weeks, you've had a quarterback throw 3 picks, a starting quarterback throw 3 picks. One of the reasons why Tennessee is right at the top in giveaways. And if you're the Jaguars, you got to find a way to get the ball back. 2 reasons. One, Tennessee is going to give you the opportunity. Tennessee has given the ball up this year 32 times. 32 times.
It's a lot.
They are tied in turnover differential with the Jaguars. But my point is that your offense is struggling. Your defense is struggling. You need to give your offense more chances. And more chances mean more opportunity, which means getting the ball via takeaway as a defense. And it helps with the field position as well. So in this game, that's one of my keys to this game is the takeaways.
But you can say that every week.
Of course.
They can't get them.
That's the most determining factor of any game is turnover differential. There's no doubt.
But how do you? It just magically happens. Like, how do you do it?
Well, number one. Here, a couple things need to you got to have, you don't have to have the perfect storm, but you got to have some elements to have the environment for takeaways. Number one, if you're scoring on offense, it makes the opponent more aggressive and likely to take risks. Okay, so scoring points, that's not happening right now.
No.
The other way is to rush the passer better.
And get home,
affect the throws. Mm-hmm. Get him to throw off of his back foot, kind of like what the opponents have been able to do with Mac, and off balance, which has been happening as well. And if you can have those things happen, you're more likely to have more success rushing the passer, more success getting takeaways. And that's just not happening right now for this defense. This defense is struggling. I mean, right now they have, 8 takeaways on the season?
Yes, and 7 on defense.
I think the franchise low takeaways is 9, going back to, I think it's 2020 or 2021.
2020 was like the worst statistical defensive season, but 21 is the turnover number.
That's the turnover number.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was under Joe Cullen. A stat that he's not proud of.
No.
The rush man. He's currently the defensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, doing a great job.
He is.
But I think it was 9 takeaways, wasn't it, in 2021? That's right. Which is the franchise lowest.
It's not good enough.
Which, last year they had 27 takeaways. The Jaguars defensively did. This year, struggling to find a takeaway. It's hard to win that way. Very hard to win that way, especially when your offense statistically is way off from where they have been over the last couple of years.
What about this Titans defense? What have they had to offer the last couple of weeks?
Well, they've offered up a red carpet for the running back last week, Jonathan Taylor.
Absolutely.
The Titans got hammered on the ground. Hammered.
They did.
The Indianapolis Colts rushed for a franchise record 335 yards against Tennessee last week in Indianapolis. I mean, that's a staggering number.
And that's a franchise that keeps records for a long time, going back to Baltimore, too, by the way.
The crazy thing is that is not a franchise high yards rushing allowed by Tennessee. See if you can find what the other game that's worse.
Jeez.
When I read that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. You mean there's a game that they gave up more than 335 yards rushing?
Wow.
But it exists because it's the second worst amount of yardage given up in a game on the ground. Jonathan Taylor himself had on the game 29 carries for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. Averaged 7.5 yards a carry. Amazing. Brian Callahan, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, said he was embarrassed by that number, which with those 2 defensive tackles that Tennessee has, I mean, it's quite frankly shocking that they gave up that amount of yardage. And it came, I think, a week after that somebody asked Brian Callahan about his team being called soft. Coach, when your team gives up 335 on the ground, the chances of people saying that you are soft, it goes up. Not good.
No, not good at all.
Did you find the number?
No, I can't find it.
I got to find it.
We'll find it.
I got to find it.
So you're going to run the ball this week?
Well, yeah, but
I mean, you're going to make them stop it.
You haven't
try it.
Well, you haven't run the ball exceptionally well lately.
I know.
Tank Bigsby has had his second consecutive game now with a fumble.
Ooh, it was a perfect punch by that guy, by the way. It was a perfect punch.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
I know you can't put it on the deck. I get it, but still,
good
play. You got to tip your hat sometimes to that guy. Also,
he's got a reputation now.
He does.
Okay, here's the fact. He has a fumble lost every 30.1 carries. That's like every game and a half, right? Yeah. If you're averaging 20 carries a game. That's not a good stat to have attached to you. And all you had to do was to watch Tank's performance after the fumble to realize how it affects him. Because then he loses that aggressive running instinct because he's more concerned about the ball and covering up the ball. And he loses that speed and that physicality of the way he runs when he has had a fumble. That's not a good place to be.
Register your furry friend for the Jaguars official 4-legged fan club for pets presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. You better hurry. There's only 2 weeks left in this season. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/4-legged fan club and sign up today. Kai Stevens when we return. Then at 5 o'clock, Brian Sexton will have the Doug Pederson Show. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading healthcare and technology organizations nationwide to deliver workforce solutions. CSI prides itself on building meaningful relationships and provides personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Hey, Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
big savings?
Yep, which means...
it's the best time to buy?
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Looking for the perfect place to host a business trip, corporate group, or social gathering? Look no further than the award-winning Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel, proudly part of the Marriott family of hotels. Centrally located next to the St. John's Town Center off Gate Parkway in JTB, they offer everything you need, whether you're hosting a meeting or just unwinding with friends at the BC Grill and Patio. Discover unmatched comfort and convenience. Visit SheratonJacksonville.com for exclusive game day special rates and book your stay today.
In Calvin's case, I think the thing that really sets him apart from a lot of guys is just his work ethic. The way he came in here and worked right away and wanted to get in with Trevor and learn the offense and get as many catches as he could from the quarterbacks and just the way he attacks practice during the week. He practices like he plays and when you do that, you're going to have success on game day, right? And that's something that really kind of sets him apart from a lot of people.
Head coach Doug Pederson today talking about Calvin Ridley of the Tennessee Titans, former Jaguars receiver. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios. Over 1,000 yards for Ridley last year and closing in on it this year with Tennessee. 857 yards and 4 touchdowns to go with it. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. This time each and every Thursday, Kainani Stevens joins us in studio this Thursday, no different than the rest. It's always
17th
great.
17th time. It's week 17, so it'll be the 17th.
Well, there's a couple weeks we didn't have shows, remember?
Well, you have to make those up. So
Thanksgiving.
you'll be here. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be present.
I thought you'd be coming back for those. No?
Depends.
Love it. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Good to
Christmas.
see you. Well, here we are. Yeah, week 17. Titans trying to sweep the Titans this season.
Sweep them away. Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, considering all the other not nice things. So beating the Titans is always nice.
An opportunity at a winning record in the division. All right. If you win this one and then the following one.
That's amazing. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, the bar is low. That's the good
Yeah.
thing. If you're
Which-
upset
wow.
about the division,
Do we get
It
a
can
banner
be-
for that? I don't think so.
we can get this back quickly, is what one would hope.
You'll get a pat on the back. Hey, attaboy. Attaboy. Good job. You won 4 games in the division. But fact is, you got to win this one to do that, right? And it's not going to be easy. either this week or next week. And I can tell you this, Tennessee Titans are going to be a motivated football team after they got embarrassed from last week. Very motivated. I mean, 1 week after getting called soft, and then all of a sudden the defense gives up that, I think that defense is going to come in here ready to rock.
Or they might fold up and go home.
I don't know about that.
This time of year, you never know.
I don't think so, JP. I think both teams have motivation to fold up and go home. I mean,
right.
the biggest selling point of this game is what happens with the result to determine draft position.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally the headline from the NFL on this game.
Yep.
Determining draft position. Right now, the Jaguars currently drafting 3rd. Tennessee Titans currently drafting 5th. That's where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good place to be.
Right.
Well, actually 4th on our.
Well, that was through Sunday of last week.
Paperwork.
There's been some adjustments since then, but strength of schedule changes and all that stuff.
Yeah, so where's it going to end up being? I don't know.
They might be looking for a quarterback too, so it's important for them.
They should be. Tennessee should be looking for a quarterback.
Well, we'll see Mason Rudolph this time instead of Will Levis.
Yeah, and he's already been determined he's not
Yeah.
the guy. I mean, Pittsburgh let him walk, and Pittsburgh not going to let a franchise quarterback walk, and Will Levis hasn't shown that he's a franchise quarterback. But here's my question. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, why are you going to go spend $92 million on Calvin Ridley? Help me
take him away from us.
I don't know. Good question.
The best thing. I mean,
Maybe they didn't know. They thought big arm on Will Levis. They throw it up there.
Maybe he's eating too much mayonnaise.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he should switch to Dukes.
Well, I mean, they have a
Dukes is better mayonnaise anyway.
I think the Titans.
Dukes is way better than Hellman's.
We were talking about this earlier today. What year was Mason Rudolph hitting almost hit with his helmet?
He's been around forever. It felt like decades ago.
When Myles Garrett almost hit him with his helmet or something.
Oof.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was not good.
No, that was like 2021, I think.
It was before that, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph, he's been around a minute now. I mean, he's 7th year in the National Football League. And he didn't start right away, right? I mean, as a rookie. So it had to be like his 3rd, 4th year or something like that.
Like
so
2016,
3 years ago?
Yeah, it was a Steeler draft pick, 2018 draft pick.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's where we are. Right?
He's got
2019.
He's got a better, I think, arm than Will Levis. Put it this way. I don't know if it's a better arm.
Yeah, Levis has a big arm. It's just everywhere.
It's knowing where to go with the arm. That's where he's better at. And 7 years in the league ought to do that, right? I mean, Will Levis is still a young player. And that's what they're kind of leading on right now. Look, I mean, the reality is that when you're a first-year head coach and you're not getting better as a team, because the Titans have shown that they're not getting better as a team.
Trying to help yourself out.
It's not good.
Kai, what'd you think in the locker room today? You were in there for a little bit.
A little quiet. I think it's a weird week because of the holiday. It seems a little, I don't know, people's families are in town. Your focus is elsewhere, perhaps.
That's the hard part about having a home game.
Because everyone comes here
during the holidays, yes. Because, everybody wants to come to Florida.
Of course. And we're not like away. Like last year, remember we were like away on Christmas Eve and then Christmas was here. So it's like, it was in the middle of the week. Like I think they had Christmas Eve off and then half of Christmas off. So it's a little bit of it's just off schedule week. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Different, but it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams come out in this game.
I think whoever has the most energy. I still felt the Titans could have won that game if Will Levis was better at some decision making. It didn't feel like the Jaguars stopped him. It was more him not knowing what was going on. So if you had a competent quarterback in there, I think Titans win that game. So whoever comes out with energy, I think this weekend is probably going to fare the best.
Will Levis left 14 points out there in that game.
Easily.
Maybe he missed the Okonkwo on the one throw. And then he missed Ridley on the other one, which would have been a walk-in touchdown. He left 14 points out there.
Is that the last play of the game?
Yes.
Those fourth down.
For them,
yes.
Yeah. Ridley was wide open in the middle of the field.
Plus just like
wide open.
Those red zone trips as well. Like our defense has not stopped the run at all, and they're throwing it 3 times out of 4, and it's just baffles the mind.
Our defense, here's the numbers, the reality.
Baffled.
Dead last in yards allowed. Dead last against the pass in yards allowed. We are dead last in takeaways with 8.
Aren't we near franchise record on that as well, I believe?
Will be a franchise record if it stays where it is.
Yeah.
9 is the low.
We have given up more explosives than anybody, with the exception of the Chicago Bears. We're tied with them. Yeah, not good.
Not good.
Not very good.
Looking for the MVP of the truck game? Better check out the 2024 Ford F-150. You only got a week left in the 2024.
I don't think I can afford the MVP of the truck game, but I support anyone else that can.
Loaded with impressive capability and game-changing tech, you can dominate work, play, and everything in between. Test drive an F-150 at your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, all the places, and also tonight on Fox 30, 7 o'clock, Jaguars All Access TV. Who you got tonight?
I believe I am correct this week, so you can actually trust what I say. Quarterback Mac Jones will be with us.
We have Mac
I had to fact
Jones.
check. Yes, Mac Jones.
So excited to have him on, hometown guy.
He makes me laugh, so I think it'll be fun.
He makes himself laugh, too.
His laugh makes me laugh, so yes, he does.
Right.
He's got kind of a giddy laugh. I'll give him that.
He has fun. Like, he tries. He has a lot of energy out there. Like, it's.
You can't say he's not having a good time.
We weren't sure, right, when they signed him, or brought him here in the trade. Like, what is this guy really going to feel like? Is after the situation in New England, you were close to that guy. Like, what kind of guy are they getting? And during training camp and the off season, okay, he's okay. He's having a good time at least.
Yeah, he's got to play better though.
Yeah, he does. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and also the guys around him got to play better too. I mean, it's kind of across the board. Everybody's got to play better. But when you have a quarterback that, if you had a quarterback play well in this past game, then you would have won that game. You could say the same thing for a couple games this year. If you got some better quarterback play, you win. I think the one thing that Mac's got to do to get better is that he's got to let his world calm down in the pocket. He's at times he's leaving the pocket or his eyes are dropping when they don't have to. At some point you got to trust the guys up front and the job that they're doing, and just keep your eyes down the field, stay calm, and get your feet underneath of you to make the throw. He has the ability to make the throws, but his feet have to be there for him to make the throws. And when you're worried about a flash here or a flash there, or do I got to leave the pocket, I'm unsure. Now all of a sudden your feet are all, I'm going to use a cool term here, JP, that you're a big fan of, cattywampus. If your feet are cattywampus, you don't have a chance of being accurate.
Is that
Do I need to explain that to you?
I know what it means. C-A-D-D-Y?
Is that actually in the Webster's dictionary? I don't even know that.
Is it
T's or D's? I don't know.
Cattywampus.
I would have gone with T's. But.
Is it a real term?
Well, there's different spellings. I don't know.
Okay, so do we need to go to Webster's to find out? Right, for cattywampus? I don't know.
Did they put slang in? I mean, I'm assuming it's a made-up word.
I wouldn't even know how to begin to spell that. Is that bad?
There's different ways. That's what I'm saying. I just looked it up. There's 3 different spellings. I can't find the.
Is it in Webster's?
I'm looking at it. I don't see it. What are we doing?
Well, phonetically, I just tried to spell it, and it's not even close.
Oh, it's very.
Maybe it's in the Urban Dictionary.
So, catawampus, Catawampus, is the official spelling in Merriam-Webster.
Okay. Give me the definition.
The variant that's used is basically askew or awry.
Yeah, that would be accurate.
Which kind of way?
Of the feet, yeah.
Catawampus, apparently, is the official. I didn't know that. Where I'm from, it's cattywampus.
I'll give you the perfect example of when Mac had great feet. The hold call that he throws the deep ball to Brian Thomas, which is a beautiful throw. On the money. Brian dropped it. Now, his feet were set. He had them underneath of him. His world was calm. And that was as an accurate of a throw you could ever ask for out of your quarterback. And he's capable of that. He's just got to calm his world down a little bit. And here's the reality. His offensive line is pass blocking pretty good. And even with Cole Van Lanen in last week. Kudos to him, by the way. He played well.
Kyle, what do you need to hear from Mac tonight?
Whatever Mac has to share, I think will be entertainment enough. Whatever that might be.
The Bulls School Brigade, is that what they call them? No. I don't know if there's like a nickname for Bulls fans. They might come out in force tonight. The Bulldogs?
Yeah, Bulldogs. Yeah. Bulldogs.
How do I not know that? I didn't know that.
I don't know.
Weird. Maybe they'll be out in force tonight.
Bulldogs that have orange and blue as colors. It's kind of odd, right? I mean,
well, what colors would they be? They're dogs.
Well, I mean, just, University of Georgia's, red and black, Florida's.
Okay, side note. I don't love when high school teams take the college logo and copy it down to the T, because then it's just confused. Then you don't never have your own gear. It's like you're wearing University of Georgia gear.
Well, Bulls didn't do that with the logo, so that's good.
Right, but I feel like when you do that, that's like, like you'll see Falcons or some stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, well, that's just, but that's not.
What was your high school nickname?
It's not you. Our mascot?
Yeah.
Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks.
Nice. Mm-hmm. This is in Maine?
It's in Maine, Lumberjacks.
What about yours?
Well, Kai's not going to like this because we stole the logo of the New England Patriots.
There you go. Did it look like a Patriots logo?
Totally.
Yeah.
The guy in the 3-point stance, the whole deal?
Sure enough.
We were the Huskies.
That's the better one. So that
Parkview
works.
High School Patriots.
Which Husky? Did you steal a college Husky logo? Because I feel like I see the Yukon and the Washington one.
No. There was they had like 2 letters put together, Hewitt Trustville, HT.
Oh, you didn't have like a Husky's face?
No.
Oh, okay.
Back then they didn't. And now they have one, but it doesn't replicate any other ones.
Interesting.
That's what we come to now. This is week 17.
That's where we are.
Talk.
Jaguars All Access tonight, 7 o'clock, String Sports Brewery.
Yeah.
In
Mac
Springfield.
Jones.
All right, here's my next question.
Okay.
What's the game tonight? It's Thursday night. I mean, it's Thursday night, the things to do on Thursday night.
Football every night this time of year.
Watch
Seahawks at the Bears.
Jaguars All Access, and then tune in
it.
for the Thursday night football.
Seahawks need it.
The Bears need anything they can get.
Well, the Seahawks really need it.
The Bears are in a state of flux with a first overall pick quarterback, waiting to see which direction the franchise is going to go.
What are you ordering tonight, Kai? Strings?
I think we're gonna light tonight. I might do a salad with like the brisket, perhaps smoked chicken.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see whatever strikes my fancy. Jeff,
I don't even have to ask Jeff.
Slam dunk.
It's already. Yeah. It's probably already got the takeout on the list. They already know.
I'm getting extra because my dad and his wife are in town.
Oh. Wonderful.
And so they're going to experience
for the first
the
time
Alabama white sauce.
Excellent.
Love it.
Please
from
report back.
Strings. And by the way, thank you, JP. JP actually bought me a Christmas gift that was the original Alabama white sauce.
So you have your own.
From where again?
Big Bob Gibson's, Decatur.
Big Bob Gibson's barbecue.
Yeah.
So you got your own. Nice.
I got my own 2 bottles from JP.
That'll last a whole week, I'm sure.
Well, no, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do better than that, Kai. I'm going to do better than that. I'll make it last a little longer.
All right.
The best part is about that is then if I'm not near Strings, I'm always in a pinch. I can just swing into a grocery store and grab some fried chicken.
Right.
And dunk it on there. Alabama white right on top. Perfect.
Kai.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Kai Stevens joining us as always. They'll all be at All Access tonight, 7 o'clock, String Sports Brewery. Mac Jones is the guest this evening. And Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair furniture for fans. The injury report and final thoughts coming up. Then at 5 o'clock, the Doug Pederson Show. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank. Advantage you. Member FDIC. And the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
big savings?
Yep, which means...
it's the best time to buy?
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips. Delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages. And you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. UNF is a top public university committed to serving the region, a place where visionary minds come together to create effective solutions. With more than 70% of their graduates working in the area, UNF is North Florida's university, offering 100-plus majors, affordable tuition, and programs in high-demand fields. Soar into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Two different skill sets, right? Sometimes too we're seeing by scheme, run through linebackers, anticipating runs where we're not coming off on those combos quick enough, and or sometimes not targeted in the right direction, right? And that's a possibility as well with some of the runs. And then, you also have to look at the backs and see if the backs are, hitting the hole or hitting, where we anticipate the ball to go and things like that. And so it's probably a lot more moving parts, in the run game, and then just being able to sustain it.
Head coach Doug Pederson discussing the Jags offensive line and the run blocking. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We're at the Hyundai Studios. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Coming up in about 8 minutes, a little less than that, the Doug Pederson Show. Brian Sexton will step in at 5 o'clock today with the Logs to speak with the head coach in studio. Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. The Jaguars have 4 players that have not practiced either day this week. Walker Little did not practice yesterday or today, and head coach Doug Pederson actually said today that he's most likely done for the year. He said probably will miss the rest of the year for Walker Little. Darnell Savage still in concussion protocol, has not practiced this week, day to day. Peterson said they'll see how that progresses.
Here's one thing just real quick about that. Yeah. Is that, when you are where you are as a franchise out of the playoffs, et cetera, I think you err on the side of caution when it comes to protocol.
Yeah, what's the rush,
That's my point.
Yeah.
Look, if the brain can get a little extra time to heal, you let the brain get a little extra time to heal.
Ventrell Miller hasn't practiced this week, the linebacker with an ankle injury. Didn't do anything yesterday, according to Peterson. We'll see today, he said. Maybe limited, but he wasn't, clearly. So everybody else that should be good, according to head coach Doug Pederson. The others on the list. Let's complete the list, by the way. Devon Hamilton with an illness has not practiced either day. Brandon Sheriff, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, limited both days. Brenton Strange, shoulder, should be fine, good to go, but limited both days. Ezra Cleveland with a knee issue, limited both days. That's the Jaguars.
It's one of the questions we'll ask Doug Pederson about is, with Wingard playing well, Savage having the concussion protocol, may bring an opportunity for Wingard. So we'll ask him that. But
he was a little salty last week after the game. Wingard was.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he wants
"Oh."
to win and he wants to play. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Right. It was as honest of a raw answer after a game that we've heard, I think, all year in the locker room.
Yeah, I got no problems with that. I mean, look, and he played well. 3 pass defense, and how many has he got on the season? He may end up having as many, if not more, than anybody else on the defense in his limited play time.
I'll check it real quick.
He's been pretty good. And by the way, the my crack research staff, which is me, myself, and I, have found the Tennessee Titans' most yards rushing allowed game, which, remember, folks, the Titans franchise goes back to the Oilers days. Which that franchise started in 1960. In 1961, this is kind of interesting, the Dallas Texans.
Which later became the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, in 1961, the Dallas Texans rushed for 398 yards against the Oilers Titans franchise.
Wow.
And that was the exact date. That was October 1st of 1961. That's like going way back.
A long time ago.
I wasn't born yet.
I wasn't either.
You weren't even a glimmer.
I was nothing. That was a whole lot of nothing. Hey, by the way, I'm sitting here looking at it. Andrew Wingard, apparently there's been a scoring change because he only has 2 passes defensed last week in the official ledger.
Okay.
So something has happened, something changed, not sure exactly what. So he's got 2. Foye Oluokun and Darnell Savage each have the team lead with 6 passes defense this year. Tyson Campbell 5.
How about Cisco and Antonio Johnson?
Antonio Johnson 1.
Oh.
And Cisco has hold on.
You're looking at the game.
I'm looking. No, hold on. I didn't scroll up high enough. Ronald Darby 9 leads the way.
Okay.
Monteric Brown, Andre Cisco, Jarian Jones 7, and then Foye Darnell 6.
Okay.
My apologies.
All right.
Computer 1-on-1 here.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. You need a tutorial to help you out there?
Yeah.
And the next break or something?
I do. By the way, there are some players. There's a lot of guys for the Titans who haven't practiced both days. Tyler Boyd, wide receiver, one of those with a foot issue. Nick Folk, the kicker, abdomen issue.
By the way, they signed a
Tony
kicker
Pollard
on their practice squad.
Yeah, it's big.
The guy that was here, I think.
Oh, Matthew Wright.
Yes.
Yeah. He just had the game winner a couple weeks ago for Kansas City.
Yes.
The doink for the division. That
Correct.
He had the game winner in London against the Dolphins. Remember?
Correct. You've just mentioned Tony Pollard. Just a little note on that. He left the game last week that Tennessee played with an ankle, and he was in there long enough to pass 1,000 yards rushing, and then he was done.
That was it.
So I'm just wondering, is that an ankle that may be done for the season, and he was just kind of toughing it out to get to 1,000 yards? Because, look, the reality is 1,000 yards is a big number, and I'm sure there's incentives involved possibly with that number.
Yeah, you got to remember that this time of year, too.
Heck yeah.
Guys trying to hit certain numbers and get bonuses and incentives.
Money's money.
It's green.
That's right.
It all spends the same.
Even if your record is not there, I mean, individual performances are being tracked, and there are incentives that are related to that.
It is professional football. It is about the money.
Last time I checked, they get paid.
They certainly do, and get paid well. That's the Baptist Health Injury Report coming up in about a minute and a half. The Doug Pederson Show. Head coach will be in studio. Brian Sexton will sit in with you, Logs, and we're interested to see what Coach Pederson has to say with 2 weeks to go.
You get the rest of the night off. JP, take the rest of the night off.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Me and Sexton got it.
You going to handle it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you had a big day yesterday, calling games in Pittsburgh with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you walk the field?
You didn't answer my question. What are you going to hear? What are you going to answer from the coach?
I'm going to ask him a lot of stuff.
What are you doing?
I got a whole list, JP. I got 20 questions here that I'm ready to roll with.
Wow.
Plenty of questions.
Get some answers out of this.
I'm going to ask him about Wingard. Wingard playing well. I'm going to ask him about the lack of takeaways. Going to ask him about Tennessee's monstrous number of giveaways.
Love it.
All those things, yeah.
That's coming up next. The Doug Pederson Show is on deck. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, our entire crew. For Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick. Oh, thanks to Kai Stevens, too. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show. Brought to you by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
And welcome into the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center for the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network, presented by the University of Florida. Brian Sexton in with Jeff Lageman this week, and the head coach joins us now. Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you guys? Merry Christmas to you guys,
Merry
too, by
Christmas.
the way.
And to you. And I heard you say that your wife has her birthday on Christmas Eve, so did you win?
Christmas Eve, the 24th. Yes, I did.
Did you win Christmas Eve?
I won Christmas Eve, and I won Christmas morning, so I'm 2 for 2 this year.
Well, at least you get to shop kind of for two things at
I
once.
do.
Kind of knock it out at the same time. Get anything good for Christmas?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I bought myself a Tikka, Tikka, 243 rifle. Bought myself a rifle.
Nice, good for you.
And then my strength conditioning staff bought me the 243, the shells to go with it. So
nice.
I thought that was a pretty good win-win.
The
all the
best
way around.
gifts are the ones you buy for yourself.
They are 100%.
You can't screw them up.
Well, you get exactly what you want.
And I will say the coaching staff bought me an e-bike this year that I'm going to use on the farm.
Is that wait a minute? Is that allowable?
It is.
It's kind of cheating.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's not.
Get a golf cart, Doug, and then ride a bike.
Well, yeah, I know, but you can also ride the
golf
things,
carts
so.
are better for hunting than on the farm because you can.
So I'm excited about
you can carry stuff in the back.
That's true.
Will you use the 243 for duck hunting?
No, it'll be for whitetails.
Nothing left if you use that.
If
for
you use
duck
that for
hunting.
ducks,
I thought you said shells, so I.
Well, not shotgun shells. These
Gotcha.
are just regular rifle shells,
All right.
rifle cartridges.
Congratulations! I love gifts for myself.
I do too. They're the best. They're the
All right,
best.
let's go back to last week a little bit. Game in Vegas, which was, first of all, a great experience just because it's a new stadium. Have never been there before and highly impressed with the environment and the setup that they have. But a disappointing loss nonetheless. And I think one of the themes that's kind of stayed throughout your football team, especially recently, is you guys weren't able to generate any momentum with the takeaway category as a defense.
That's been hard. That's been hard. Offensively, we're kind of giving it away. We had a couple of giveaways last week, and then defensively, we're not getting the ball. So we're making it extremely hard on ourselves, and the offense is having to go the long way, to score points, and then the defense is having to stay on the field a little bit too long in these football games. A disappointing loss. We had opportunities in that game. You go up 14-13, and you need that one stop, and we actually had the quarterback wrapped up, and we let him out of our grasp, and then he makes a tremendous play, right? I mean, credit them for making that play, and but those are the things, those are the plays right there that we need to make in order to mature and move forward as a team. Those plays have to be made in the National Football League, and then offensively, our ability to run the football. We have to run the football, and we haven't had the success that we would have, liked last week in that game. And
to kind of go to that offense, giving that ball away a little bit, 2 fumbles in the game that didn't lead to any points by the Raiders, but it essentially took points off the board for you guys, and definitely the last one with the strange fumble in field goal position, possibly there. Maybe the game is handled differently at the end of the ball game if it's a field goal game instead of a touchdown game. So that's not where you want to be either.
Not at all. But see, and those are the learning lessons that, even though we're learning this the hard way as a football team, that everything, I go in there and talk. Everything, guys. Everything matters, right? Everything we do matters. The way we practice, the way we travel, the way we play, the situations in practice that I put you in. Everything we do matters, so we can win a game on Sunday. And then, so we have to be aware when we're in those situations. Coaches and players, we coach it a certain way, and then we have to play it a certain way. where we got to understand that it's a close ball game, and points. And I knew going into that football game that the field goals were going to be big, right? Field goals were going to be big because I think it would give us an edge over them if we could just take care of the football, drive, kick field goals at the end of those drives, and then eventually get ourselves into the end zone. I felt like we could win the game 20-14, 20-17, 20-10, maybe something like that last week. But when we turn the ball over, I mean, then it sets it back, and then we're not creating those takeaways on defense. It just makes it so much harder. And as a team, we need to understand that, making those plays goes a long way to helping us, win our fair share of these games.
Something that people have been talking about this week is Mason Smith, who showed up. We've been asking about him all year. What did you see from him, and what does he mean for your outside pass rushers when you've got some push up the middle?
Yeah, he's playing well. He's playing really, really good. I mean, he's learned from early in the season. He's getting more reps, obviously, so he's learning how to play that position inside. He's pushing the pocket. He had probably, again, a good football game. I'd love to have him make that play on the quarterback on Aiden there, and then we're off the field and all of that. But if he can continue to push the pocket and eat up a couple of, would-be pass blockers, it just frees up your edge guys a little bit more to get after the passer, or could free up, Eric Armstead on the inside, on the other side type thing that could also affect your passer. So he continues to play and play well. I think good things will happen, particularly on the edge.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. One other guy I thought that played well, Dewey Wingert, I thought played well. And Savage ended up leaving the game, was in the concussion protocol. How do you handle that this week with a guy that played well and a guy that's in the concussion protocol? Is he going to make it out? And I know it's not Friday yet, which typically kind of is your date to determine what you're going to do. But kind of what's your feel for that?
My feel right now is that my gut tells me that Sav probably won't make this game just because of this. He's still symptomatic and still in that protocol, and you don't want to rush that thing whatsoever. Want to make sure that time takes its or runs its course with these things. So we don't want to rush that. So if that's the case, that's all right. Dewey's very capable, right? I was sharing this with the media. My only regret probably this year is that Dewey got hurt so early in training camp. And, we went into the season thinking Sav was going to be the nickel. Dewey could potentially be a safety. Jarian was going to work in at nickel, maybe some nickel corner, but now the deck got shuffled, right? And so now Dewey's in a position to help us. He's healthy. He feels really good. He had a great game last week. So I would anticipate, Dewey playing a lot in this football game.
So you get the Titans now, second time in a month. Is that an advantage for you?
Well, it'd be an advantage for them too.
I guess
so. But the fact that it's still fresh on our minds. It's only 4 weeks ago that we played them. It was a close football game. It was a physical football game. And again, we look at that game and go, hey, okay, we battled for 4 quarters, right? We finished that football game, and defense really played well that day, and we're going to need that same type of performance. Mason Rudolph now, I mean, different quarterback, but they're still running it through the running game, kind of through, a little bit of that quick passing. Calvin Ridley running through the middle of the field, some deep throws to Calvin. So, it's a little bit different, but at the same time, I think personally everything's still going to go through this defensive line. To me, it's one of the better D-lines in the National Football League, and Jeffrey Simmons anchors that D-line. He's a tremendous player, and Arden's playing well, and Sweat's playing well. So familiar to us, familiar to them. Should be a good football game.
The defensive line good in Tennessee, but they weren't so good last week. They gave up 335 yards rushing to the Colts. What did you see in that game that maybe can give you a little bit of an advantage this week?
Well, I mean, if you listen to what their coach said this week, I mean, we were out of gaps, right? We missed some tackles and different things like that. Well, those are things they're going to correct this week. So they're not going to be out of gaps anymore. So now we're going to have to make sure that we're double teaming. If we can get 4 hands on Jeffrey Simmons, we got to put 4 hands on him. If we can get up, it's much like the New York Jets sort of game plan in a way with the type of front that they have. And listen, we've got to be able to cover them up. We have to be physical up front. It goes without saying. And then our backs have got to hit that hole. We got to have tight ends and receivers blocking linebackers and safeties. And that's what you saw against Indianapolis and Tennessee. And of course, Jonathan, he's a good running back.
Yeah, he's pretty good
running back. When he gets gets the ball in space, he can go. So I don't expect that same defense. I expect a better performance, obviously, from them, and I'm sure they feel the same way.
Last time you faced Tennessee, Anton Harrison had a sickness and didn't play in that game, so Cole Van Lanen started at right tackle this week. Cole Van Lanen is going to have to start at left tackle because of Walker Little's injury to his ankle. I think he's played pretty well when given the opportunity. You got to feel pretty good, especially about the health of your quarterback and how good in protection he is. Now he's not as big as Walker and doesn't move the guys as well, but in pass protection, I'm sure you got complete confidence in him.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's one of the brighter spots, I think, with the offensive line right now is the fact that we've been able to pass protect and keep our quarterbacks clean and keep Matt clean the last couple of weeks. And he's had really good pockets to throw from, and Cole's been a big part of that. And now he gets to go over to the left side, and Arden plays over there a little bit, in base defense. He may come over and play the open side a little bit more in sub defense. But, Cole's been one of those bright spots too. He came out of training camp. We were excited about him where he was. He sat really as the fourth tackle back then, behind Cam and Tawn and Walker, and then it was Cole. And now Cole's elevated to a starting position, and he's played well when he's been in there. So I'm excited for him. He's a valuable chess piece for us in that offensive line. Along
the lines of running the football, with Jonathan Taylor being a great back, you got a good back in Bigsby, but the fumble thing is popping up. 2 games in a row. I looked at the numbers. I want to say he's lost a fumble like every 30 carries. I mean, that's not a good number to be attached. Where's your level of confidence with him?
It's still very confident, very high. We make sure that he understands why he's fumbling the football and how he can correct it and how he holds the ball. And he just has to be more aware when he's in traffic. Defenders more than likely are going to punch than they are to tackle. And that's what happened last week. It was kind of a an easy punch on an exposed football. So, he knows that, he's aware of that. We show him that on tape. He'll work on it this week in practice, but our level of confidence is still really high in Tank.
We're 10 minutes into our conversation. We haven't even mentioned Brian Thomas Jr., who has obviously been the story all season long. He just continues to stack at the end of the season here. Is that what you expect from not his production level, but a rookie to get stronger as the season goes along? Because it certainly appears that he is.
I'm not surprised because I've seen this guy work all season. I think that it's probably a little twofold, right? I mean, the fact that the injury situation to our receiver room, you're missing Christian, you're missing Gabe, obviously now BT, but you're also missing Evans. So, as the season progressed, we were still finding ways to get BT the football. But now that those 3 guys are missing, BT's getting the football. It's 100%. We got to find ways to get him the ball now. And so we're loading his plate up more and more, and he wants it. He wants to experiment with different routes, do different things, and move him around the formation, bring him out of the backfield, motion him across the formation, whatever we can do to create some space for him and let him just utilize his speed. We've got to do that, right, and give ourselves an opportunity, and he continues to embrace that role. We're excited. I'm excited for where he is as a rookie, and I still think there's more and better out there for BT as the years go on.
Yeah, boy, if you go back to last week, there was more there on the plate, so to speak. He had the double move early in the game that Matt couldn't get him on, and then also the drop, which had a holding call, which would have come back anyway, but he probably could have had over 200 yards receiving in that ball game. What impresses me the most about him is his consistency and his route running. Have you ever seen a rookie kind of just grab that experience and have that kind of veteran knowledge of running routes like him?
You know what? He's the first, and we've drafted some guys in Philly when I was there, some young receivers in the draft and high draft picks too. But none of them can do what Brian can do, and it's a credit to Brian because you watch him in practice and how he runs routes, and he runs them full speed. And he gets his work in during the week, and he continues to improve. He's probably running faster and harder now at the end of the season with really nothing to play for than he did in week 1. And that just goes to show you the type of person, the character, that he is and as a person and how hard he works and how bad he wants to be a great receiver in this league.
How important has Chad Hall been in that process? Because, you know, I watched Parker Washington on film also, and I see a guy that also runs really good routes and seems to have really more abilities as an outside wide receiver than the pigeonhole that you might put him in as a slot receiver.
Yeah, I think Chad's done a great job working with both of those guys. You know, Parker is another one Parker's a little more twitchy probably, you know, than BT's got the straight line speed, where Parker's got a little more shiftiness to him, low to the ground. But Parker's another one that's a bright spot offensively, and finding ways to get him the football is also something that we focus on as an offensive staff. But Chad, you're right. Chad has done a great job coaching those guys, his drill work, his teaching, his fundamentals. And there's a reason why those two guys have had the type of years they've had.
Can you just put it in perspective, though, how hard it is to find that alpha player? I mean, at every position, but at wide receiver in particular, the Jaguars have been trying to find the dominant number one alpha since Jimmy Smith retired after the 2005 season. In fact, I stood next to Jimmy at that Colts game when they did the Ring of Honor for Tom, and he talked about how good this kid was. And it's just, they're hard to find. You drafted him in Philly. They've drafted him here. When you get them, they're gold.
They are, and we feel like we found one, you know, here in Jacksonville, and we've got to continue to, to build around that offensively. Our quarterback's got to continue to trust and just keep working with him, so they're on the same page, and it's just got to be, you know, with those two guys, with Trevor and BT, it's got to be just night and day. I could throw blindfold, and I know where BT is going to be. That's the type of trust and a level of execution that those two have got to have, and I feel like BT's that type of alpha in that room and on this football team that we need.
How long will that take? How much time on task between a quarterback and a receiver is there for the blindfold to be on and know where to go?
I still think it's a work in progress. I think it's going to take another offseason, probably a training camp, to get to that point, because now obviously Trevor's missing some time here at the end of the season with the success that BT is having. So now you put those two together, it can be a really good combination in this league for a long time.
All right, last question from me. You're facing a team in Tennessee that's given the ball up more than anybody in the National Football League as an offense giveaways. And you guys have not gotten one. I think it's been Minnesota. It's been quite a few weeks. How important is that for this ball game?
It's huge. It's huge. We've got to be able to create some takeaways. If we can at least get 2, possibly 3 takeaways in this game, you know, nothing's a guarantee, obviously, but it just gives your offense a chance, right? It gives you a shorter field, and you don't have to make it hard all the time. And so if we can do that this weekend, you know, give yourself an opportunity to score and play good defense, play good special teams, it gives you a chance to win.
Final one from me. Since their very first game here in 1995, the Jaguars have always been behind this franchise, the Oilers and the Titans. You're 4-1 against them, which is the best. Well, okay, I'll throw that one out there for you. But the division, you can still finish 4-2 in the division, and I know the season isn't going to end the way that any of us thought it could or should, but you can have a winning record in the division, and to me that's important because these are the guys you play every single year, and the guys in the locker room need to know that these are the rivalry games and the important games. Am I off base? Is there something to having a winning record in the division? Do you see it as the head coach? And what does it mean to your players coming back? No,
you're 100% right. It's important, one, regardless of division games or not, to finish strong. Finish your season the right way, right? Hopefully you finish with 2 wins. You go into the offseason feeling good about that. But on top of that, it's Tennessee and Indy, 2 teams that are in our division, AFC South. We're trying to win the AFC South every year. And to finish 4-2, that gives you that glimmer of hope going into the offseason that, hey, all we got to do, guys, we got to just clean up the mistakes, clean up the errors that we're making. You're 4-2 in the division, and you got a chance every year to be playing in the postseason, at least win the AFC South and play for a playoff spot. So you're right on base with that. The guys need to understand that. That's what you're playing for, along with pride and playing and finishing well.
Well, best of luck to get to 3-2 to set that up, and then we'll wish you we'll see you after New Year's. So Happy New Year's.
That's right. Happy New Year's. That's right.
Head coach Doug Pederson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll be back after this on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA to not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
Big savings?
Yep, which means...
It's the best time to buy?
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show. Brian Sexton along with Jeff Lageman here on a Thursday after Christmas. You asked Doug about his Christmas. How about your Christmas? How was it?
Oh, great.
Yeah?
Great. Yeah. The kids are the beneficiaries of most of the gifts.
Your largesse.
Yeah.
You're willing to throw it out there. But really, most importantly, the food, the wine, it was all good?
Always good. You know me, Brian.
I do know you, which is why I'm asking. I was hoping for some more detail, but it appears
it was great. We had an outstanding Christmas kind of brunch. With some of our neighbors, Rip and Roseanne. It was outstanding.
Glad to hear it.
Tara was like a demon in the kitchen, as she always is.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, so let's get back to football. We touched on Cole Van Lanen. Cole started the game 3 weeks ago against the Titans at right tackle. Now he comes in at left tackle.
On short notice, by the way.
Yeah, the one in Tennessee.
Correct.
He found out maybe Saturday night?
Yeah, a couple. No, I don't think it was Saturday. No, Sunday morning he found out.
Did you know he was capable of this? I mean, we heard about him and being the highest graded player in PFF or whatever that means.
In the preseason.
Right? And now here he is starting right tackle, left tackle, and playing pretty well.
I give him credit. You know, when they initially traded for him, I think their vision for him was going to be a guard. And it didn't work out very well. You know, to play guard, you have to have a level of power to handle. Because, look, it's kind of like battling things in a phone booth. It's short areas. You're dealing with stronger guys. And he didn't handle that very well. And he literally became an afterthought for this football team. When I say an afterthought, he became a number. Let's get through camp and we just, move him to tackle.
Right.
Or whatever it was. And all of a sudden, he excelled. Well, that was the position that he played in college, I guess, which he was a left tackle. And he's very athletic. He's not super strong. He's not moving guys off the ball in the run game a lot. But if you can have a backup tackle in this league that is going to make sure that your quarterback doesn't get one of these, look out, you're okay. And that's what he is. He's an excellent pass protector for a backup. And the crazy thing is he was essentially a third-team guy, at the beginning of the season. And then with the trade of Cam Robinson to the Minnesota Vikings and then the ascension of Walker Little to the starting position, now he's in the position to be that guy, and he's done a great job.
So with Walker done for the year, he's now your third tackle, right?
Yes.
Cole, I'm sorry. No. Cole's your starter.
Cole's your starter.
The question is, who's your third tackle?
Well, that's probably going to fall on the rookie, which hasn't been
Javon Foster from
hasn't
Missouri.
been active much. And to be honest, watching him in the preseason, I thought he wasn't ready, and this would be kind of a redshirt year because he's a 4th-round pick.
Right.
You're not going to take a 4th-round pick tackle unless he looks, just terrible, and cast him off. But this year, essentially, because you can't hide him on the practice squad, you got to keep him on the active roster for a 4th-round pick. But I don't know if he's ready for this. But we're going to find out if he has to be pressed into action. They really don't have. And here's the other thing. Will he be the first option, or would he be kind of an emergency break glass type of player? Because, here's the other part, is that Blake Hance can play tackle too.
Yeah, he did in Cleveland last year.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Is there anything you can't do with Cole Van Lanen at left tackle? Does it severely restrict you in any way what you'd like to do?
Well, the great thing about Walker Little, and this was the part that I really was impressed with when watching Walker Little, is his finish in the run game, his ability to move people was really good. It's kind of like what Cam was early on the last couple of years. He kind of fallen off the finish part of that, but Walker Little's been doing a great job of the finishing things. Hopefully he's okay. The biggest concern with Walker is the durability thing. This is
he's missed games
popped
every
up
year
again.
he's been
So, but for Cole Van Lanen, look, he's not going to get a ton of movement in the run game. But the most important thing is to not get somebody killed.
He's got Arden Key this week, and we know Arden.
And he's okay. He's the guy that you worry about the most is Harold Landry. Harold Landry's a good football player, very good pass rusher. And they both kind of move around a little bit. So Harold Landry, I think, is the one you'd be most concerned about. And then if they move Jeffrey Simmons outside, which, remember Chris Jones kind of kicking outside, Jeffrey Simmons can do that.
I love Jeffrey Simmons. I think he's a terrific football player.
He's really good football player. Really good football player.
All right, we're due for a break. We will take it now and return to the Doug Pederson Show here on the Thursday night after Christmas, and you're listening on Jaguars Radio.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop, or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 Roller Grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And it's continuing for you on the Jaguars Radio Network, which is presented by the University of Florida, the #1 university in U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. Brian Sexton along with Jeff Lageman. Let's talk a little BTJ. I mean, listen, we could just turn on the mics and talk about him for an entire hour.
Yeah, he's a great player.
And nobody would get tired of listening to him.
No, what I love watching him on film, just because he is, like talking with Doug, it's not very often that you see a young player that has developed so extensively across the board as a route runner, and his speed is exceptional. I mean, that's God-given.
Yeah.
You can't work on speed, but the route running stuff, the truly great players have good speed, but have the ability to change speeds to make it appear as great speed. He has great speed, period, but he's learning how to do the little things to make his great speed even greater.
Rookies generally hit the rookie wall, right? I mean, they college season ends, and then they start training, and then they're drafted, and then they go right into training camp, and it seems to all run together. So you don't expect a rookie to be playing better at the end of the year. And yet he seems to be getting stronger week to week. And Chad Hall, I talked to him after practice today. The Jaguars receivers coach told me the exact same thing. Yeah. He just keeps getting stronger. He's like Superman.
Yeah, it's impressive, because I remember my rookie year, and once you got into week 12, I was gassed.
Yeah.
And Brian has really thrived. And when you watch the energy in which he runs his routes, I mean, he does a great job with it. And he wants the ball. He wants the ball. And I think that, part of the energy that he has also is related to he's the man now. And now he's experiencing something that I don't think he's even experienced at LSU, because, look, at LSU, you were one of the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the three great receivers.
Well, and Malik Neighbors got a lot of attention.
He was considered the man.
The guy.
Well, Brian is now the man, and I think he's enjoying, I think he's relishing the opportunity to be the man and then to be a difference maker. And he's an ultimate competitor.
Yeah, he really is.
Ultimate competitor.
Well, I told you what Jimmy Smith told me. We were standing on the field for the Colts game there at halftime. We're about to do the induction ceremony for Tom into the pride of the Jaguars. And Jimmy said, and I'm paraphrasing, he might be as good as me. Which, listen, for Jimmy Smith to say that says a lot, because Jimmy was ultimately, just completely confident in his greatness.
Well, and Jimmy's not one to throw around any kind of credit that is equal to his.
Yeah.
It's just Jimmy.
Jimmy was great.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I'll give you, this is another kind of funny story. We have our broadcast meetings every week.
Yeah.
And I said that Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is the best deep ball receiver that the Jaguars have had since Jimmy Smith. And I said that at the very beginning of the season, before Brian really even played a game. And I got kind of laughed at.
Yeah, imagine Baselli had something to say about that.
And that was where a lot of the laughter came from, and criticism of the comment.
But what's interesting is that he's doing it without anyone else helping him space the field, right? I mean, if you think about modern passing offenses, they're trying to space the field kind of like a basketball court, right? And when you had Christian Kirk for just a brief moment and Gabe Davis early in the year, you could think about creating some places, and Evan Ingram, for him to be able to go. I mean, there's no spacing on the floor. Everyone knows the ball's going to him.
Well, and I'm surprised that defenses are playing him the way they are. I mean, he's going to get the ball.
Yeah, the Raiders screwed up big time.
And the way that some teams are playing him, you look at it and you scratch your head and you go, what are you thinking? They're going to get the ball to 7. Yeah. It's great for the Jaguars. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing that part of it. It's great to watch. But it's still kind of amazing to me that some coordinators are approaching the Jaguars and not treating Brian Thomas Jr. like a surefire star, which is what he is.
He is. And he will see completely different defenses next year, will he not?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
totally different.
The book on him just continues to grow. And could we see for the very first time a defense that gives him the attention that he deserves this week? At times people have given the attention, but not play in and play out. This may be the game.
We will take a break and return. More with Jeff Lageman here on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
Big savings?
Yep, which means...
It's the best time to buy?
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And we're back. Brian and Jeff with you from the Hyundai Studios in the Miller Electric Center. And this reminder that Zip Chair is customized Jaguars furniture. ZipChair.com is furniture for fans. Quick segment here. You're looking at, and I am too, in the weekly release, just the amount of ink that Brian Thomas Jr. has been able to amass is as impressive as anything. A lot of anecdotes, stories. I see right here that he needs 44 yards to move into the top 10 among rookie receivers in NFL history in receiving yards.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And, you know, he's got all the Jaguars records now. You know, receptions, yards, touchdowns, and what's next from a franchise standpoint for him. I think it's a big deal to get to double-digit touchdowns, so the next touchdown at 10 is a big deal.
Yeah.
He leads all the NFL rookies in receiving yards. As long as this pace continues, I think he'll end the season leading the league rookies in receiving yards. But the list that you're referring to is pretty cool. And the list, the names that are on that list are fun to kind of look at. Billy Brooks, a good friend of mine for the Colts,
right,
back in 1986, is the 10th receiver on that list,
so
and his yardage total is 1131. So 44 yards to pass Billy for Brian to move into 10th place on the all-time rookie receiving yards list. How far could he go?
Well, I mean, he'd need 226 yards to pass Randy Moss, which is
amazing.
Say the name Randy Moss, and we both remember that rookie season of his in 1998.
So I want to just roll some names off here. So Billy Brooks is at 10th. Terry Glenn of the Patriots is 9.
Terrific receiver.
I'm not going to throw the yardage out there. Michael Thomas of the Saints is at number 8. Michael Clayton of the – what team was he? I'm trying to think.
Not sure either.
Because I'm thinking of Clayton back in the Clayton Duper days, and that's not it.
That's Mark Clayton.
Correct. Anyway, he's 7th. Odell Beckham is at 6. Randy Moss is at 5. That was 1998. Which is going back to the early years when passing wasn't as much. Anquan Bolden at number 4. JJ, Justin Jefferson at 3. Jamar Chase at 2. Puka Nacua at number 1.
And by the way, he was sensational as a rookie. And that's an amazing amount of 1,486. Michael Clayton played for the Buccaneers. He was the LSU kid in 2004.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And amazing.
How many LSU guys are on this list? Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Michael Clayton,
Odell Beckham Jr.,
OBJ,
and Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah. Wide receiver U. By the way, coached right now by an old friend, Cortez Hankton.
He's the wide receivers coach?
He's the wide receivers coach. I saw him at the draft, and he told me,
good player,
walking through the airport in Detroit as I was racing to get a plane to come home on Friday, he said, this kid might be the best of all of my receivers.
No,
says a lot.
I made that statement after watching the film on him prior to the draft because he had the explosive element.
He does.
Which that's what the NFL is all about, the speed.
And when we come back, we'll talk more about the NFL, the Jaguars and the Titans on Sunday, a 1 o'clock kickoff in the home finale here at Everbank Stadium. I'm back with Jeff Lageman on the Doug Pederson Show after this on Jaguars Radio.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
All right, the Jaguars and Titans on Sunday here at Everbank Stadium. The two teams are a combined 1-7 in the month of December, and that one win is the Jaguars' win over the Titans almost a month ago. Two teams, neither of whom is playing good football. You study tape like no one else. Is one team playing any better than the other?
Well, Tennessee's playing better right now.
Okay. I mean, they scored 27 points in each of the last two games.
Well, 57 points because they scored 30 last week.
Right.
And then 27 weeks, so 57 points in the last two games. And
that's Mason Rudolph.
Jaguars are struggling to find points. Well, it's a combination of Levis and Rudolph, but Levis got benched in that game 2 weeks ago. But, yeah, I mean, they're putting up more points. You know, I would say them. Yeah, they're playing better. But that franchise just gave up a big number on the ground.
Huge.
And that's hard to ignore. When you give up that many yards rushing, the only team that I can remember bouncing back from that was Indianapolis when Mojo and Fred had that tremendous
That was
day.
2006.
375
was
a Super Bowl run that year.
Do you tell the story? I tell the story. I never go to visiting coaches post game. I have enough to do covering the Jags. But I ran from the broadcast booth down to Tony Dungy because I wanted to hear what Tony Dungy, who I revere, I think is a tremendous man and coach. I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Yeah.
I thought he was just good. He's calm, cool, collected like Tony is. He's like, look, it's a couple little things. We'll fix it. And they did. And they didn't lose again, and they won the Super Bowl. So
and they became really good against the run.
Really
good against the run. And Bob Sanders was a big part of that, if I remember right.
And Booger McFarland played well late in the year there, so they solidified things. Here's the interesting part about the number that you just gave out. Doug Pederson has talked about this Tennessee defensive line as being one of the better groups in football, and they did that. So why the fluke?
It can happen.
Okay.
It can happen. You get a couple guys out of a gap here or there.
Give up long runs. And
that's all it takes. And Tennessee's a little aggressive. They like to send one extra guy. And so if you're sending one extra guy,
you can hit it.
Then you're kind of depleting that second line of defense a little bit.
Do you think it's one of the best defensive lines in football?
No.
Okay.
No, I think those two tackles are two of the best.
Simmons and Sweat.
Yes. But as a whole,
right.
Harold Landry, Arden Key,
it doesn't come together for you.
Yeah, I mean, look, it might be the best defensive line in the division.
Okay.
You could make that argument.
Right.
Indy's not even in the conversation with that.
No.
The Jaguars aren't either. I mean, you've got two edge players that are really good.
Right.
But nobody on the inside.
Well, that's all
Houston's
been impressive.
And Houston's got the edge players.
And no one inside.
It's kinda,
there you go. Give it to them.
Yeah, but I would say, Houston's edge players are really good, though.
Where do you think Jeffrey Simmons fits in the pantheon of
tackles?
Great defensive tackles in the
league right now?
Yeah.
He's top 3.
Okay. So
top,
you're
top
putting
3 on a bad team.
Chris Jones and Quinnen Williams from the Jets?
Yeah, probably those two guys. Probably those two guys at the top.
Chris Jones is the best, I think.
Quinnen Williams is having an off year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not great.
Okay. But he's a big guy who moves people generally.
And I know he's hurt, but what's his the guy with the Giants, Lawrence, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Great player.
Dexter Lawrence.
Great player. God, he's good. Really good.
All right.
But what I'm worried about this week is that Mac Jones has had some problems in the last couple weeks keeping his eyes down the field.
Worried about the rush.
If you don't have a running game to support him, and then all of a sudden it's 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7+, and all of a sudden here comes Tennessee sending that extra guy, and he's flashing at Mac. Mac's eyes have been dropping. And then when his eyes drop, his feet get a little bit off, and then all of a sudden he doesn't have his feet underneath of him. Mac Jones is not as accurate as he can be. That's what I worry about.
The Jaguars ran 26 times for 71 yards. That's 2.7 per in their win in Nashville. Can they run better than that this week?
First of all, give credit to the defense for that win. I mean, the job that they did against the Titans and also Will Levis was outstanding. The Jaguars' offense was not great in that ballgame.
So that's a definite maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll take a break and return more with Jeff here on the Doug Pederson Show after this quick pause on the Jaguars Radio Network.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
How close can you get with Verizon Access? Front row close. Red carpet close.
Oh my God!
Backstage passes close. Playing quarterback for your favorite NFL team close. Okay, not that close. But watching from the sidelines close? You bet. Get into the experiences you love, like concerts, games, and exclusive pre-sales just for being a Verizon customer. Verizon Access. You're in. Woo! Learn more at Verizon.com/access.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, think. What's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
Big savings?
Yep, which means...
It's the best time to buy.
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Brian and Jeff with you, the Doug Pederson Show from the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center. Hope your Christmas was great. We hope the Jaguars find a way to get their second win of the season at Everbank Stadium. There have been so many games that it felt like they were in it, Jeff. I mean, the Packers game, the Vikings game, the Jets game, but they didn't close the deal.
I was actually just, John Osher has the kind of you and I and Frank and Tony and everybody writes kind of what our thoughts are for the game. It's published on Saturday on Jaguars.com.
Final analysis.
And I was actually just writing in there that I hope that the fans can come to the stadium and have a little holiday cheer.
One more time.
It's the last time. And it hasn't been a great season at home. And just to give them something to entertain them and give them something to cheer about.
Well, first of all, they all want to come and watch Brian Thomas Jr.
How many people are going to be rooting for the loss, though, in draft position and all of that?
Listen, I in 2020, I was rooting for them to lose every week, right? Because it was clear they weren't a good team.
You needed a quarterback.
And Trevor Lawrence was sitting out there, and as it played out, that was the right thing to happen.
Circumstances are different now.
Yeah, they are different. Listen, you win one, you lose one here at the end. You're going to be picking to the top 6 or 7, and that's going to get you a good football player.
Yes.
It might not get the exact player you want, but then again, there's no guarantee the Jaguars are going to take the exact player that you want, even if they're sitting there at number 1. It's the Titans. You can't root against them when they're playing the Titans. I just don't think that you can.
No, you can't. The Titans are different. Ever since 1999 and Jeff Fisher. When he made those comments, that just solidified.
Oh, you mean at the Super Bowl about all the
about
home stadiums?
Yes.
And if you weren't here, when Jeff Fisher was the head coach of the Titans, they beat the Jaguars in the AFC Championship game to advance to the Super Bowl. He was asked at the Super Bowl press conference, how'd you manage it, right? Going from all the home stadiums that you played in, you had the Astrodome, you had the Liberty Bowl in 97 when they played in Memphis. In 98, their first year in Nashville, they played at Vanderbilt Stadium, and then they moved into what is now Nissan Stadium. And he's like, there's 4 home stadiums you had. And he goes, well, you forgot one. Just with a wry little smile on his face. And the reporter said, which one? He said, well, it was at that time Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville. And everybody broke up laughing.
It's a great line.
Oh, it was
great line.
And he was at the J Fund, Tom Coughlin's gala, years later, and just everybody wanted to needle him about it. He left with about 400 best friends. They loved him.
Oh, yeah.
Because
he's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
He's a great guy. I've talked to him on a couple of different occasions. A great guy.
He stuck it to the Jaguars.
Well, and, because people, and, I almost wish that for the current players to understand kind of how this whole rivalry, how deep it runs, is to go back and show some of that to the current players of today.
Hold that thought. We've got to take a break. When we come back, more about Sunday's game. Brian Sexton, Jeff Lageman with you here on the Doug Pederson Show. We'll wrap things up after this.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop, or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 Roller Grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Final moments of the Doug Pederson Show here on the Jaguars Radio Network. I'm Brian Sexton, filling in this evening, along with Jeff Lageman, and we've been getting you ready for Sunday's season finale against the Tennessee Titans. It comes your way at 1 o'clock, and of course, we'll have all the action locally in Jacksonville. We'll get started at 10 o'clock. We'll pick up the network at noon, and then kick off against Tennessee. The secondary has been choose your adjective, a problem, a disappointment, a bugaboo. I mean, you figure it out. The safety spot in particular, they get Dewey Wingard back this week. Does it make a big difference?
I think it helps because I think it helps kind of calm the back end down a little bit. The one thing about Andrew Wingard is that he's a good football player and he's a smart football player, and I think he's a really good communicator back there. And I think they've missed his presence this year with the injury that he had, obviously set him back a little bit with his ability to be available for this football team. Dewey says he's ready to go. He looked like he was ready to go this past game when given the opportunity. And with the issue with Savage being in the protocol, I think it's time for Wingard.
You know, when you look at the safety position going forward, I mean, I think it's clear Andre Sisco's not going to be back.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that's he's going to be able to get to the market.
Right.
And, good luck with him. And I like Andre Sisco.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
right.
Nice guy.
But he's made a lot of mistakes this year.
And he's had a kind of a tough year. But you got to figure out something in the back end. Because the whole reason, like you brought Darnell Savage here, was to play nickel, and then you couldn't play him at nickel because your issues at safety.
Right.
You move him to safety, and he doesn't. I don't think he has enough top end speed to play safety.
So what do you have to work with at safety? I mean, do you think Dewey's a guy?
I think Dewey's a starter. I think he is, and then you hope that you can continue to develop Antonio Johnson, and he can get better.
Is he a safety? Is he a corner?
That's a great question.
Is he a hybrid?
Look, you've got to be able to. Your mind has to be sharp to play safety. I think last year, Antonio was able to excel a little bit because he was in a kind of that in his own little island, playing nickel for the most part, and then a little other things that they gave him to do. But he had a small plate. Well, now when you play safety, now you have adjustments and a new defense, and all of a sudden now there's a challenge to it. And I think the coaches can help out too.
Look, this was supposed to be.
I don't think Ryan Nielsen's had a great year. Obviously, this defense has gone backwards.
It was supposed to be a simple defense, something that made it faster. We got lots of time to talk about this. We're out of time, and you've got a television show to do. All Access with
All
quarterback
Access, Mac Jones, Strings. Come join us.
All right, and it's on live at what time?
7 o'clock.
All right. Jeff, pleasure, as always.
Always.
And that'll do it for our show. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll talk to you on Sunday from Everbank Stadium as the Jaguars try to get a home win in their home finale. Good night, everybody.